Oh, Jesus. Hard hat hockey. Welcome in, everybody. It's hot. It's hot across America. I understand if you're wearing a tank top, you got shorts on, you just want to take your clothes off. There's a heat wave going on. It doesn't make you think about hockey, but guess what? We are. That's why you're here. That's why we're here, and we love it. Summer swag is coming up, right? We want to know what you want. I need you to reach out, Facebook, Twitter, email me, hardhathockey1@gmail.com. Let me know what you want, and I will order it, and we will get that to you. This week, not the busiest of weeks, but we're still continuing our primers. We did have a fan reach out from Gary, Indiana, of all places. Love that. Frank reached out to me on Twitter, messaged me, said he's really enjoying the show, listened to Hawaii hockey on his drive home from work, and also commented that the Blue Jackets are cheeks. If you're not familiar with that term, it basically means that the Blue Jackets, in his mind, are not good, right? Frank of Gary, Indiana, thinks that the Columbus Blue Jackets could be better. Does that make sense? Grant, are you listening to this?
He's not wrong. They haven't been particularly good in 3-4 years. So I can't call him a liar. He's saying facts. And I don't have many rules in life, but one of them is not to mess around with anybody from Gary, Indiana. I mean that like endearingly. So Frank, thanks for letting us know you enjoy the show. Glad we get to, fill your commute home with some good hockey talk. As a guy who's had some pretty awful commutes in my life and have been comforted and looked forward to being able to listen to a podcast or two on the road, I am thrilled that I am now creating content for people to, get through that part of their day. So no issues here calling out my organization. I call out the Jackets pretty often. I think, I'm a fan, but I want them to be better. So
I think that's
not wrong.
That's part of being a fan. I call out the Avs organization. I mean, we could spend a whole episode here on my opinions of how this is rolling this summer, but we're not going to do that. We got plenty to get to at this point.
We could do like an hour on each of our teams. So I think we should pat ourselves on the back for doing a good job of not just. We haven't talked about the Jackets head coaching search in like 2 episodes. We turn into a rabbit.
We really haven't talked about the Avs cap situation and why it is what it is with the.
Well, we need a domino to fall in that.
With drugs and injuries, I let it be. I let it be. It's like a buoy on the water, right? You're driving a pontoon. Don't hit the buoy. That's all you gotta do, right? It's a no wake zone, right? Bring that throttle back to idle. Okay. All right. Today's episode. Thank you, Frank of Gary, Indiana. We really appreciate the love and the support. I know I listen to podcasts on my way home from work as well. Today's episode, we got all the traditions here. We got Kaboom. We got Train Station. We got Housekeeping. We got Primers. We got Hard Hats. It's all coming to you live right now. Hockey Team Kaboom is sponsored by Bush's Baked Beans. Roll that beautiful bean footage, baby. There's no better way to enjoy the summer than with your four-legged companions and a side of Bush's Baked Beans out on that pontoon. Hockey Team Kaboom here, Grant. It's a tradition at this point. Are you loving it?
Love's a strong word. I mean, I feel this is like working out to me, where it's like I do this because I like the results. It's not necessarily something I love the process of, but I'm always up for a challenge, and if we keep this going, then we're going to keep it going.
I'll say this. Our fans love it. I think the creativity of it is what keeps them going. And they appreciate your insight, right? Your professionalism is what keeps them coming back to Hockey Team Kaboom. So
well, that's great.
It's a compliment to you.
Thank you.
Okay. This theme this week is going to be summer pool drinks. We've got 4 lined up here. We've got margarita, strawberry daiquiri, mojito, and sangria. So just imagine yourself, you're in a pool, you got one of those 4 drinks. Grant is going to hear the description of that drink and correlate that to an NHL team. Grant, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Margarita. A margarita is a cocktail that's a combination of tequila, orange liqueur, and lime juice. It's a member of the sour cocktail family and is known for its sweet, salty, and bitter taste. Margaritas are often served in a glass with a salted rim.
So margaritas are also very dangerous. They're very satisfying. I used to bartend. This is another point of this. I used to bartend, so I love this category. I love margaritas. That's my favorite summer drink. They'll hit you in the mouth. They are exactly what Trent said, sweet but salty and bitter. And this is the Boston Bruins. This is a tough team, but if you're into it, you love it. You love the Bruins if you're like anywhere near Boston, and you kind of hate them if you have to play against them a lot because they knock you on your ass. And that's what a margarita will do.
I love that answer. Bruins are going to be more prominent later in this episode. Okay, strawberry daiquiri. In its purest form, the daiquiri is a delicate balance of rum, strawberries, and sugar. In its purest form, you will be transported to a tropical beach. Everyone is well aware where a strawberry daiquiri can take you. Grant, what NHL team is the strawberry daiquiri?
So yeah, this one has none of that substance that the margarita has. This is all strawberry and sugar, and this is the Washington Capitals. This is all just pomp and circumstance. It's one hit. It's one shot. It's Ovi in his office putting in the goals. That's great. If that's what you're into, by all means, but it's not going to get the job done. You need a little bit more balance. You need a little bit more of a drink. It's kind of an adolescent drink, honestly. Like if you're drinking a strawberry daiquiri, I don't think you drink a lot, which is fine. But, if you're into Ovi, if you're just into power plays, get your boardwork in. Let me see what a forecheck looks like. You're not into that. You just want to see clap bombs.
I will say when it's made right, I really enjoy a strawberry daiquiri.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a huge fan of rum.
It can be too sugary, obviously, but when it's made right, I do enjoy it. Okay, mojito. Mojitos are bubbly rum cocktails that taste minty fresh, citrusy, and a little sweet. Club soda stretches out the flavors to create an afternoon-worthy sipper. Mojitos are ultra refreshing on warm days.
Yeah, mojito, that's where you grind the mint at the bottom of the glass. Not a lot going on. This is a tough one. I'm going to kind of cheat here. I'm going to go to the San Jose Sharks, but I'm going like the Brent Burns, Joe Thornton era Sharks, where it's like you look at it and you're like, this drink should be more popular. It's a fun name. Anytime you can see like a bartender like take out the muddle, like kind of grind stuff, you're like, this will be cool, but it's not getting up there with the margaritas and the other kind of like top level cocktails.
Okay. Yeah, I can appreciate that. It's like it should have been more. It should have produced more. Yeah.
Yeah. Like anytime club soda is used, it's exactly what it says. It's to stretch things out. It's not really it's adding bubbles, but there's nothing to club soda. That's why you like it. Cause you can just put it on top of like vodka and just be like, look, I'm drinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sangria. Sangria is known for being festive, fiery red, and a deceptively intoxicating wine-based punch that embodies the spirit of Spain. Its fruity flavor blends red wine, chopped fruits, sweetener, and a splash of brandy. Tough one.
This one's tough.
That's tough. That's tough.
This might be... maybe you can help me out with this one, Trent, because I'm going to describe like a team and an organization where it's like you're just throwing a lot of different stuff on the walls and you look at it in the picture and you're like, there's no way this is going to work, but it works so well. Like sangria is one of like the best drinks. If you can pull off a good sangria, you're going to have a great evening. It doesn't make sense though. When you look at the ingredients separately, but when you add it all together, it's perfect. So part of me is thinking the Canucks with this, because if you just look at this roster, you're like, how are they always deep in the playoffs?
But they're not.
Yeah.
They just went deep once.
A couple times. Maybe once. Maybe they're Carolina. Maybe they're the Hurricanes. I feel like I lean on the Hurricanes too much. Because if you just read off the Hurricanes roster for the last like 4 years, I'd be like, that team's beatable. And then you watch them and I think, I'm talking myself into the Canes. It's red. It's red.
I
Red
want
wine, red
I
wine's
want to go
heavy.
out. I want to go out west with this one. I think this is the Edmonton Oilers,
Well, the Oilers winning makes sense. It's kind of McDavid and Draisaitl.
right?
That's like,
He's the fiery red. He's not deceptive, but they do have deceptively
there's
intoxicating.
nothing deceptive about the Oilers.
Okay.
The Canes are a little deceptive. They're in Raleigh.
Okay, what
It's
about
like,
this?
what are they doing?
Hear me out. Hear me out. This is the Winnipeg Jets. Okay?
Okay.
They've got a deceptively intoxicating roster. There's so many lovable players on that roster. They're fiery. They are fiery. They're festive. The city of Winnipeg loves that team. Right? They're a very festive team. They embody the spirit of, this says Spain, but obviously it's not Spain, but this would be embodying the spirit of Canada. Fruity flavors.
All right. Yeah, I can get behind that pick. That's a good one. Something about like a Spanish wine being used for Winnipeg just feels wrong.
Right. Well, don't think about it too much, right?
No, these are kind of half-baked, fun things. That's like, you think about it too much and you're like, well, Edmonton, like Winnipeg's just like a shot, like a beer and a shot.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Folks, you just heard the third rendition of Hockey Team Kaboom. And Hockey Team Kaboom, as long as Grant is okay with it, is going to keep on coming to you all summer long because we love it. It's a tradition at this point. So, Grant, if you're cool with it, we're going to keep it rolling even more.
Tighten it up to just 3. I think power of 3, rule of 3 for comedy. It's usually that fourth one that gives me the most headaches.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, everybody, all aboard. All aboard. Tom Hanks just hopped out of the Polar Express. All aboard. It's Transaction Train Station. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's not nearly as busy as last week. It was a quiet week, which makes me think that a giant trade is budding on the horizon. I think that something's going to drop here soon, but not yet. So for this episode, I've got 2 for you. I got 2 that I thought were notable that the crowd would appreciate. Grant, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Out of Utah, there's a lot of entry-level contracts signed this week. So you saw the draft back in June, and this is the time where teams can sign entry-level contracts if they want to. I mean, a team can sign them at any point, but this is the time of year where you see a lot of them. TJ Iginla, son of Jerome Iginla, was signed to an entry-level contract with the Utah Hockey Club. I put this one in here because I know we mentioned him on draft day, and I think that this is going to work out really well for Utah. I'm really excited to see his progression through this franchise, and I think this is only going to escalate the ceiling that the Utah Hockey Club has.
Yeah, they didn't waste much time with this, so good on Utah, good on TJ. I've got to get used to seeing Utah come across my desk,
The Iginla name is what's getting me. Obviously, Father Iginla finished out his career, 5-6 years ago? He played for the Avs there for a second, played for the Bruins there for a second. Most notably the Calgary Flames. And the fact that his son is now in the NHL is, one, it's making me feel old, but 2, I've got like a tiny bit of investment here. I really want to see this work out. I'm a huge Iginla guy. And if this really reaped rewards for the Utah hockey franchise, that would make me a happy hockey fan. So I'm wishing him nothing but the best. And congratulations on your ELC and being in Salt Lake City. Not much better you could do there. So congrats to the young man.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear. Okay, Grant, somebody who I predicted his career may have been done. He was bought out by the Dallas Stars. A week later, Ryan Suter was picked up at the league minimum with the St. Louis Blues. This makes sense to me that's a blue line that could use a little bit of help, veteran leadership. That's a team in general that could use some help. And, Ryan Suter obviously coming with a bevy of knowledge and experience. And if he gets to stretch out the career for at least one more year, well, good for him. Thoughts on Ryan Suter?
There's worse organizations to end up in, so he just keeps getting bought out. I know it's not his fault or his problem, but yeah, the Blues are still chasing, still in it. Little blue line depth, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the St. Louis Blues preseason primer because I got some hot takes for that one. So St. Louis Blues fans, look forward to that. Okay, that's all I got for the transaction train station this week.
It was a slow week. It cooled off.
It definitely cooled off, and that's how it goes in the off season. And what you'll find in these episodes moving forward is we're going to have a lot more preseason primers coming your way than we did last week or even this week. So NHL Housekeeping is coming to you right now. Get out your cleaning devices. I got to mop the floors today because I got so much dog hair all over the place. I'm looking at you, Labrador. Okay, NHL Housekeeping is coming to you right now. The biggest trade of the week by far between the Edmonton Oilers and the Buffalo Sabres. The Edmonton Oilers acquired Matthew Savoy, who was a 9th pick in the 2022 draft. So first round pick, 9th overall. They got them from the Buffalo Sabres for Ryan McLeod, who's 24 years old, and Tyler Tullio, who's a prospect. Ryan McLeod, 24 years old, 30 points last season. He had a positive Corsi 4 and 12 minutes of ice per game. And I put that on there because I thought it was significant in the playoffs to see just a little bit of depth that Edmonton could provide because this isn't a nobody. Ryan McLeod is a good player. And then Tyler Tullio is, I think, going to end up being probably an AHL prospect, 22 years old, 5th round pick in the 2020 draft, and has spent the rest of his time in the AHL. So, frankly,
yeah, Edmonton must really like this Savoy kid. Well, they're ditching McLeod, right?
Frankly, I think this is a very bad move on the Buffalo Sabres side.
Okay,
you've spent years building up this youth movement, and then you moved this kid who is a notable blue chip prospect, which does not come around often. Very, very green to the NHL. Drafted in 2022. It's not like this is some reclamation project. He's just being introduced to the league. And you've spent years acquiring Dylan Cousins, Tage Thompson, Owen Power, John, what's his name? Peterka. Like all these acclamation to get a better team with youth. Why would you trade Matthew Savoy? You're in no position to be trading blue chip prospects. What are you doing? Why are you like loading up with this third line center? I get it. Ryan McLeod's a good player, but for Buffalo, it doesn't make sense to me.
We'll have to keep an eye on it. It's interesting. I was surprised by this move.
Yeah, I think Matthew Savoy is a player who's going to turn out to be very talented and is going to rack up some stats. Ryan McLeod at the moment is a very good player, but I don't think that's what Buffalo needs at this time. I think
is it what Edmonton needs though? I mean, like this.
Well,
it's a good prospect, but like you're right on the doorstep if you're Edmonton. Like, is he going to help knock that door down, or is it going to be like you always have to have an eye for the future? But I think McLeod's like an asset too for a team like Edmonton that's close.
McLeod is an asset. Edmonton could afford this because of their Jeff Skinner and Victor Arvidsson acquisitions.
Oh yeah, I forgot they got Skinner.
Yeah. So because of what they did elsewhere, I think that they can afford this move.
There's still that buffer there. Okay. Yeah, I had memory hold last week.
For Buffalo, it doesn't make the most sense to me. So, and they're ironically a preseason primer today. So we'll get into that. Hey, Grant, if I asked you who had the most wins in the salary cap era without looking at the script, who would you say?
Probably would have said the Pens.
Okay. And I would tell you that's a good guess. So
yeah.
What we have for you today is the top 10. So from 05-06, when the salary cap was put in place for the NHL, the most wins in the cap era. Number 1.
Not points, wins.
Wins with 840 wins. And this might drive Grant crazy because they've weirdly just been so prevalent for what seems like 2 decades. The Boston Bruins. Why do things work out for them? Because they're managed so well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At number 2, I've got the Pittsburgh Penguins, 828 wins. There they are. At number 3, the Washington Capitals, 808 wins in the salary cap era. Number 4, the New York Rangers at 806. Number 5.
I was a little surprised.
Surprised by number 5. Number 5 at 803 wins, Nashville Predators. I did not see that coming. At number 6, Tampa Bay Lightning, 799, which is recent memory. Number 7, Dallas Stars, 782. Number 8, 774, Minnesota Wild. Number 9, 770 is St. Louis Blues. Number 10, 764, Colorado Avalanche. What I did
there you go. Get in that top 10.
Get in there. What I did notice is 5 of the top 10 are coming from the Central Division, which tells you how competitive it's been for years. Good runs. Every NHL outlet, media outlet, has reported that Sidney Crosby is getting close to a deal with the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's coming soon. Sports Illustrated has predicted a $3 million contract. Get this. Since he signed his entry-level contract in 2007, he has only accounted for $8.7 million against the cap.
How's that work?
This guy's been in the league for almost 20 years, only accounted for $8.7 million against the cap.
How's that math? Explain that to me. I'm confused.
You talk about the most team-friendly deals of all time. That's how it works.
So he's only making like $500,000 a year?
No, that's not overall. It's like 8.7 per year.
Oh, that's his average?
Yeah.
Is what you're saying? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So he's averaging $8 million a year. That's okay. That makes sense. I thought you meant like in total he's only.
No. But 8.7 per year for Sidney Crosby?
Well, the cap wasn't that high back then. The guys didn't make a lot of money.
Okay, fine. Think about the last couple of years though. 8.7 for Sidney Crosby? That's a steep.
But that's how averages work.
We just touted the Sam Reinhart contract. Sam Reinhart, fantastic player, $8.625 million going to the Florida Panthers. Is he Sidney Crosby? No. We're talking like 3 or 4 players who may be better than Sidney Crosby at this point.
Well, it pays to be, a draft pick, and it's also like he's had guys around him that, need to get paid a lot of money too.
So here's my theory. So he turns 37 years old next month. Okay. So age is a factor. And here's what we always see. They sign these deals, like Joe Pavelski the last couple of years signed a deal. And granted, for probably 2 years ago, Joe Pavelski still looked fantastic. It wasn't until this past season where he really dropped off a little bit. It happens. I'm not like, I love Joe Pavelski, and I don't mean to like badmouth the guy, but what we see is like in the later 30s, if the guys are still playing, all it takes is 1 year, and the drop off it's out of nowhere, and it can be significant. So, do I think we're going to see that with Crosby? Not necessarily.
It's a weird team right now. It's too top heavy. There's no one beyond like.
I wouldn't even say it's top heavy is the word. I would say old.
Yes, I was being nicer. I shouldn't be nice to the Pens. I have no reason to be nice to the Pens.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that preseason primer.
I forgot they had Carlson on their team.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's not. I don't think it's much top heavy as it is just old. It's an old team.
Yeah.
So very much looking forward to the.
Puckpedia is fine. It's not cap friendly.
It's not cat friendly. I know. I told you. Okay, Grant, are you ready? We're going to shut down NHL Housekeeping for the week. We're going to open up preseason primers. We got the Buffalo Sabres and the Detroit Red Wings coming at you right now. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, Buffalo finished 6th in the Atlantic Division. Notable moves this offseason. They bought out Jeff Skinner, who now got signed with the Edmonton Oilers. They signed Jason Zucker to a 1-year, $5 million deal. He had 14 goals last year and 32 points with the Arizona Coyotes and the Nashville Predators. They also signed Sam Lafferty from the Canucks, 2-year, $2 million. He's also third in hits coming over from Vancouver. They re-signed Yoki Haru on the blue line, 1 year, $3.1 million. And they executed that trade that we talked about earlier that I didn't love when they moved blue chip prospect Matthew Savoy over for Ryan McLeod. And GM currently is Kevin Adams. Admitted this past season that the team was just not good enough. And new head coach, Lindy Ruff. Lindy Ruff coached the Buffalo Sabres from 1997 to 2013. Now is back. I know Lindy Ruff.
We were half decent back then.
They were half decent. At one point, I know they had Danny Briere and Chris Drury. Yeah, they weren't a bad team. But what my point is,
they're chasing ghosts a little bit, Trent.
My point is the Buffalo Sabres, I think, hands down, have been the worst team in the salary cap era, and it's not even close. Which is why the Matthew Savoy trade puzzled me so much. This is a team that needs to deliver to its fans. You're talking about the Buffalo Bills.
Best fans in America.
The Buffalo Bills Mafia, man. It's the same fans. It's the same people. They're just putting on a different jersey. These people brave the coldest winter in the United States every single year. The amount of snow those people get, and they just live their daily life. These people are tough. These people are loyal. These people.
Upstate New York used to kind of control the world too. If you look into the political and economic history of that area,
yeah.
The Sabres should be better. Yeah,
they should be better. It's been years. How many times have the Sabres said, "Oh, we're rebuilding right now"? I feel like they've said that since 2005. It's been long enough.
They've gotten close. They start hot every year. They can't seem to keep things going.
So to that point, that's a great point. 2 years ago, yeah. I thought they were coming on the scene. Tage Thompson had 94.
People love him.
He's big. He's fast. His possession numbers are great. Tage Thompson, 25 years old at this point, maybe 24, had 94 points 2 years ago. Their first line center. This past year, 56. Their key forwards, Alex Tuck, who came over in that Vegas Golden Knights trade, Jason Peterka, had 50 points last season. He's 22 years old, blue chip prospect. Dylan Cousins had 47 points. So what I'm getting at here with the forwards, Dylan Cousins and Tage Thompson are their top two forwards. That's their center depth. 56 and 47 points collectively is not going to get it done. You have to have more production from your forwards. You just do. The key defensemen, you got Owen Power at 33 points, Rasmus Dahlin at 59 points, and then Bo Byram came over late in the season from the Colorado Avalanche. Good player. The trade did puzzle me a little bit. I thought it was very even in terms of value for players, Bo Byram versus Casey Middlestat. I didn't have a problem with the Sabres moving Casey Middlestat necessarily. I didn't understand their acquisition of another young blue chip defenseman. They already had Owen Power and Rasmus Dahlin. So, well, I think the trade was very even. I didn't get the benefit for Buffalo, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think we could keep looking at this at a macro level and be like, man, this team's got to be better. It looked so exciting. There's so much potential here. Have they gotten better this off season going into next? I think marginally. I don't know if they got the offense to get up there, but I'll always say, man, they're in the Atlantic. You could just kind of get hot. You got Boston bullying everyone near the top there, but I wouldn't be shocked, they kind of sneak in there with the wild card or something like that.
Something I love about the city of Buffalo. Have you ever had a garbage plate?
I have not. I was driving through there on my way to the East Coast from Ohio and stayed the night there, but I've not spent considerable amount of time in Buffalo, which is a shame because I think I would enjoy it.
Buffalo's a great town. Rochester's
I've heard
a great town. Garbage plates are, just imagine just a chili dog, open faced, smothered with some gravy and some French fries underneath. And
like potato salad, you get like potato salad and pasta
yeah,
stuff on there. It's like everything you would get at like a cookout, just on like a huge plate,
smothered in gravy. It's really good.
I've seen them. I've seen them on TV. And
last time I was in upstate New York with Sean Hackle, we went to the Sabres versus Devils game. Had some garbage plates. So
what's that arena like?
It's good. Yeah, it's good.
But it's nice. It's like it's a good place to watch a hockey game.
Yeah. I don't think it's nearly like not one of those arenas that needs an upgrade. It's not even close to that. It's a good arena. Is what I would say.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I like shout out Ginny Cream Ale.
Love it.
Great upstate New York beer. Yeah.
Keys to
we got a lot of
success.
friends from upstate New York.
Upstate New York is gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Keys to success for the Buffalo Sabres. The forwards have to mature. They got to grow up a little bit.
Score some goals.
They got to generate more, man. What I noticed about this blue line is they generate a lot of the offense. The forwards got to generate some more. The center depth has to be consistent. Your top two centers, 56 and 47 points respectively. That is not good enough. That is not going to get you to the playoffs, not even close to the Stanley Cup. The team as a whole finished with a +2 goal differential and barely a positive Corsi 4. I think they ended the year a little hot. Went 7-2 fighting for the last wild card position, which obviously they did not make. That tells me.
I think if they, go ahead. Sorry.
It tells me that the defense was fine. They were fine. The offense just isn't pulling their weight. That's what that tells me. In goal, you got Luukkonen, who's been there for a couple of years. He had a .910 save percentage on a bad team. That's a positive. That's an asset that they can rely on. He'll need to be big in the upcoming season and deliver the same. And I think the biggest question mark is going to be how Lindy Ruff adapts back into Buffalo. How is this going to work? You've got this young team that they have contributed so many blue chip prospects to, and now you bring in an older coach in the league. The move was a bit puzzling to me. I'm not saying it can't work, just like the Ottawa Senators last week. I think it can. I don't see the path right now, and I need it laid out for me.
I think the path is like just be a little bit better. No, maybe not even a little bit. Like try to take a leap this year. Try to compete for a wild card spot. You know, like the Caps. The Caps aren't good. They made the playoffs with 91 points. Maybe Buffalo can get close to that. But yeah, it's going to take like more goals, and it's going to take someone stepping up, and it can't all just, it might end up all just being Tage, and that's going to be really fun to watch and exciting. But if you want like sustainable winning hockey, then it's got to be something a little more than that. But we're in a new era in Buffalo, man.
Okay, great.
I think Ruff will be fine.
Okay. What is your prediction for the Buffalo Sabres?
I think they miss the wild card just barely.
Okay, so they finished sixth. They finished sixth in the Atlantic this past year. They were 7 points out of a playoff position. I think they get closer, and just like Grant said, I think they're going to finish fifth. I think they move up just a little bit. I think the signings of Zucker and Sam Lafferty, notably, are going to help them much more than the contract suggests. I know that at this point, those names probably don't scream off the page, but I really do think that that's going to be a big boost to the forward core. And I've got them missing the playoffs barely, which would be an improvement from this past season. Okay.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
Our next preseason primer, the Detroit Red Wings. This is a fun one. They finished fifth in the Atlantic. They barely missed the last wild card spot that the Washington Capitals stepped up and took in very dramatic, potentially controversial.
High.
The Detroit Red Wings currently sit with $19 million in cap space. Their GM is Steve Yzerman, who everyone should know and love. Head coach, Derek Lalonde. $19 million in cap space is deceptive. A lot of that is going to be eaten up here soon with their extended qualifying offers for their restricted free agents, Moritz Seider and Lucas Raymond. Those guys are going to eat up a big chunk of that 19, but not all of it, which I'm going to get into here in 1 second. Notable moves this offseason. They signed Patrick Kane to a $1.4 million deal. They signed Tarasenko, 2-year, $4.75 million deal, 17 goals and 41 points with the Ottawa Senators and the Florida Panthers, and 5 goals in the Stanley Cup playoffs with a Stanley Cup attached to his name. Good for him. Christian Fischer, 1 year, $1.25 million, shoring up the bottom 6 forward depth. Signed Eric Gustafsson, 2-year, $2 million. Jack Campbell, 1 year at the league minimum. Cam Talbot, 2-year, $2.5 million. So those last two names, Jack Campbell and Cam Talbot, are goaltenders. Key forwards, Dylan Larkin. Let's just be honest. Their playoff hopes probably would have been realized had Dylan Larkin not been hurt the last month of that season. I really
doesn't help.
It didn't help. That's their 1C. Dylan Larkin's fast. He's a great leader, and they missed him desperately in that.
It's weird he's like old.
I know. It is really weird. It's really weird. Alex DeBrincat, 67 points, 82 games played last season. What I put 82 games in there because the year before he had some injury trouble. So the fact that he played a whole season this past 2023-2024 season, that's a good sign. It's
good stuff.
Key forward, Lucas Raymond, who is going to agree. He's a restricted free agent. So just as a reminder, restricted, he's not going anywhere. He's going to play for Detroit. It just means that he's a free agent with Detroit, and they've got to agree on a number, essentially, is what it comes down to. Then you got Patrick Kane, and you got Tarasenko. Veteran leaders there who can score. They can put the puck in the net. Defense.
Tarasenko is better than anyone they didn't bring back.
Agree. Wholeheartedly.
That's just kind of part of it.
On defense, you got Simon Edvinsson, 21 years old, Moritz Seider, 23 years old, and then you got a little veteran depth, Ben Charrett and Jeff Petrie, and then they obviously added, as we said earlier, Eric Gustafsson at that 2-year, $2 million deal. I think he'll be a nice addition on that second power play unit. With the defense, you got one player who was even at plus minus all season long. That's not a great sign. Okay, so every one of their defensemen was in the minus for plus minus, except for Simon Edvinsson. He was even. That's a big body. He's young. I think that's someone they're really going to lean on moving forward. And I look for him to have a big year. And I think that that's going to be a key pivotal cog, if you will, in their success for the upcoming season. Keys to success, Grant. Health of their veterans. They got some older names now. Like you said, Dylan Larkin. You got Patrick Kane and Vladimir Tarasenko. Those guys can score. All three of them can score, and they will contribute to a vast majority of their goals this year. Their health is going to be pivotal. Beyond that, though, is the crease. Every goalie last season, and they played 4 of them, had over a 3 goals against average and a .902 save percentage, which probably leads to every defenseman having a negative plus minus, right? So the fact that Simon Edvinsson had an even plus minus during that time tells me how good he is. But let's go back to the goalies. 3 goals against average, .902 save percentage on average. That's not good enough. They need an answer in there, and they don't have it right now. They signed Jack Campbell. Yeah, they brought back Cam Talbot and Jack Campbell. Those aren't answers in the crease for me. So I mentioned the 19 million.
They're not for me either, but it's like this is them trying to improve, right? I mean, this is without really swinging for the fences.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I mentioned the $19 million earlier. A lot of that's going to be eaten up by Moritz Seider and Lucas Raymond, but not all of it. Not $19 million. They're going to have a little bit left over. I think by the trade deadline, Steve Yzerman's going to see that this is a playoff team, and they need to go out and acquire a stand-up, just winning goaltender in the NHL with their remaining cap space. And I think that's going to be the move, and I think that's going to be the move that projects them into the playoffs. They're going to improve. They're going to make the playoffs. This is my prediction right now. I think the teams who made the playoffs in the Atlantic Division this past year, I think we're going to see at least one of them drop. And I think there's going to be a changing of the tide, and this is the start of that. The Detroit Red Wings make the playoffs with this team.
Bold statement, Trent. I mean, they should have made it last year. I mean, we can be honest about that. You're probably right. I could see the Leafs or the Lightning not really coming back and the Red Wings being the team to jump up there. I think process of elimination leads the Wings to be up there. I don't want to, the Wings just made my youth as a Jackets fan, like a young Jackets fan, just awful. They would put up like just an insane amount of goals against our feeble team. So I really relish the fact that they haven't been good for the past, what did say, like 6 seasons. And it seems like they're getting back there. I knew my days of getting my hating in were numbered when Yzerman got the GM job. So yeah, we're probably there. We're probably getting close. I don't think they're lifting the cup anytime soon, but you see the steps being taken here.
Yeah, I think the Detroit playoff
Tarasenko move is just that's savvy.
That's huge.
Almost such a no-brainer.
It's huge. Now you got Kane and Tarasenko, two of the best snipers in the league.
Yeah.
And
if DeBrincat could just stay healthy, they're gonna be fun to watch.
They're older, but yeah, those guys stay healthy, man. It's a good team. They are. They're gonna be dangerous to play against. So, like you said, I don't think they're winning the cup, but they're making the playoffs for sure. The playoff boycott in Detroit is over. Detroit fans, you're making the playoffs this year. Mark my words.
I mean, it's just like, are the Leafs and Lightning going to continue to kind of hold down that last automatic spot to make it like a wild card fight? That's kind of the question, because I don't think the Bruins and Panthers are going to fall off.
See, the Bruins are an interesting prospect for me. I genuinely, if there's a team that I'm having trouble projecting, it's the Boston Bruins. Because it all hinges on the success of Elias Lindholm.
Yeah.
And
but we're going to get to them.
We'll get.
Let's not talk too much.
Sorry. Yeah.
It gets roll. We get rolling, dude.
Yeah. Okay. You ready for the hard hats of the week?
Yeah. I can throw something together. I kind of forgot about this one.
Right.
You gave me a lot of homework. We got Hockey Team Kaboom. We got these projections, and then I got to give out.
Grant, you can count on Hockey Team Kaboom for the next couple weeks until you.
That's fine, but I only have so much bandwidth here.
Until you tell me no, I'm going to keep Hockey Team Kaboom coming. The fans love it. They'd love it. Okay. The hard hats of the week are sponsored by Leroy's Bar. Located in the heart of Worcester, Ohio, Leroy's establishment has provided cheap pitchers and a safe haven for all of the Fighting Scots of Worcester since 1969. Make your reservations at Leroy's today. Okay. My hard hat of the week.
Go Leroy's. Go Scots.
Go Scots, baby. My hard hat of the week goes to the Iginla family. Jerome Iginla, his son TJ Iginla, just signed his entry-level contract. I think that's a player who could potentially make the team out of training camp. I wish nothing but the best for this family. I got to witness, actually, Jerome Iginla and TJ growing up playing in a rink in Denver. I ran into them. I met Jerome. Really nice guy. While TJ was playing when he was a Bantam. So really fun moment for me. This family is just a class act, and I think that they're going to thrive in this Utah situation, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he becomes in the Utah Hockey Club. So go again, La Family.
That's a great one. Great pick. I'm going to go a little bit of a different direction here. I treated myself to season 3 of the hit hockey TV show Shoresy. Trent, have you watched Shoresy?
I have.
Thoughts?
You don't want my
You
thoughts.
like it? What's that?
It's okay.
Okay. It's an easy watch. I find it to be very like digestible. I liked season 1 and 2 a little bit better than 3, but I'm just gonna give it to the guy, the creator behind it, Jared Kiso. I love that there's just hockey content out there like this. Really enjoyed it. It's a bit of a cop out, hard at hockey, but I was thinking of what have I consumed hockey wise recently, and that's been Shorzy. Big fan. If people watch this and it gets them into hockey, then I'm all in on it. I liked it. I like the show. I think it's a good show for what it is. 30 minutes, some good jokes, decent. Hockey's kind of hard to film because the puck bounces around and stuff. It's not easy to script stuff like that as opposed to like basketball where you can kind of like, screen something and you're holding a ball and you can kind of set up the stage in a way that like makes it satisfying. Like hockey's kind of hard to get on TV and on the screen. That's why you don't see a whole lot of hockey movies, really. So getting the beautiful game on TVs, I enjoyed it. The girlfriend was out of the house for a night, so I kind of binge watched all of it. Yeah, maybe we do a Shorzy breakdown. I get your full thoughts on it.
I love it. Yeah, no.
Sudbury, Ontario, man. Looks like a great time.
No, you're right. I mean, I'm definitely not going to sit here and badmouth any like kind of hockey media, hockey exposure. Like Shorzy is a good show. If you haven't seen it before, you should go watch it. For me, it wasn't as funny as I feel like it was made out to be, but I'm not going to sit here and, like I said, I'm not going to badmouth Shorzy. So that's all we got here, folks. Hard at hockey. Stay cool out there. A lot of heat waves across America. Heat wave in the literal sense and also, maybe the suggestive sense here with these preseason primers because they're hot. Next week, look out for Toronto, and Tampa Bay to name a few. A lot of big things to break down there with both those fan bases. So Bolts fans, Leafs fans, you can look forward to that. Maybe we'll add on one more. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm looking forward to it.